We will be talking about this issue in the Maldives that nobody else is talking about, whilst we give you our honest review on the Sheraton Maldives, highlighting the good, the bad, and everything in between. The resort offers a free return airport transfer service from Malé Airport via speedboat. As you board, you're given a scented towel as well as complimentary water. There's also a complimentary drink on arrival at the resort whilst you wait to check in. You're then given a buggy service that gives you a quick tour around the island and then takes you to your room. We booked the Ocean Villa room with full board, which comes with your own bike so you can get around the island. This is the most expensive room option and is meant to be the most private, but more on that in a little bit. The room itself is very spacious, but what you're actually paying for is this. A private outdoor area with your own private pool that overlooks the ocean, and a bunch of other perks like this sunbed where you can sunbathe in private, and a hammock for you to laze around on in the afternoon. But I think I definitely prefer the sunbed in comparison to the hammock. There's also an outdoor shower area for after you use the pool, but the downside here is that when it rains, everything out here gets wet and unusable for a while. The room itself comes with a king size bed, couches, armchairs, and also honeymoon complimentaries if you're on your honeymoon. The bathroom is also a highlight with an open bath area that has a bunch of bathtub amenities. There's two separate his and hers sides to the bathroom with two sets of toiletries and also a separate makeup area for the ladies with a large mirror. The shower is in the same area but is closed off for privacy and has its own shower amenities. The same goes for the toilet, which is closed off. This has no bidet and only has a hand spray. A hairdryer is provided for the room and is pretty decent. As far as the amenities go, there's toothbrushes, toothpaste, combs, vanity kits, sanitary bags, and body lotion. There's also hand towels, hand soap, tissues, and filtered water to rinse your mouth. Towels are scattered around the bathroom, on racks, and in drawers. The TV is a decent side but has no streaming apps. Coffee mugs are provided, as well as complimentary tea and coffee, and a few other drink glasses and empty drawers. There's a coffee machine, daily complimentary water, and of course, a paid snack bar and fridge. Drink prices out here were eye-watering. We advised the resort we were Muslim, however, they forgot to remove the alcohol from the room, which was taken away the next day. Also, this room phone smelled like actual sweat. I absolutely hated using it. Coming back to the room, there's a standard safe and two separate closet spaces to accommodate a couple. They come with bathrobes and slippers, hangers, and beach towels. Charging ports are provided on each side of the bed and complimentary life jackets come ready with the room. Overall, the room is pretty decent and the sunrises here are absolutely amazing. I'm not a morning person, but I made sure I stayed up past Fajr to experience these sunrises. I don't know if you can experience sunrises like this anywhere else other than the Maldives, so I'm glad I got to make these memories. Outside of the room, there's some exploring to do around the island, which caters to couples and families. However, one of the biggest perks is that there's an actual masjid on the island, and it even has a women's area in the corner, which is closed off for privacy. The masjid itself is very spacious and has a pretty big capacity, and it's really beautiful being able to pray alongside the staff at the resort. They also provide Islamic books and of course the Quran. Marine biologists give daily presentations if you want to learn about fish and corals or ask them any questions. But our favorite part was the food. This resort has 7 restaurant options. Feast is their buffet option and had one of the best buffet breakfasts we've had at any hotel or resort we've ever stayed at. Masala Hut is the Indian option and we never came back here after a bad first experience. Ban Thai is a premium restaurant with Thai cuisine, requires a reservation and an additional payment on top of the full board. Sea Salt is the same and is a premium seafood restaurant that requires a reservation and an additional payment on top of the full board. But it does offer a more premium and romantic atmosphere for couples. Kukuni Hut is Mexican and was our absolute favorite. The service here from Autumn was absolutely unmatched. Anchorage is also on par with Kukuni Hut and was one of our favorites with Mediterranean cuisine. Chopsticks is the last one, but unfortunately, I forgot to record this Asian themed restaurant. We've done individual reviews on these restaurants on our page, so make sure you check them out. If you have bikes, there's parking for them across the resort. If not, there's places to be picked up by buggies, but don't get too excited because sometimes these take forever to turn up or don't turn up at all. If you're feeling lazy in the afternoon after lunch, there's swings to lay down on and go into a food coma. As far as the room options go, there's multiple choices. You can opt for one of these regular rooms with an island or beach view, or you can go for a cottage with an island or beach view. However, the most popular is the Overwater Villa, which is the second most expensive but not fully private. The Ocean Villa is the most private but also the most expensive, and this is the one we're reviewing. No matter what room you stay in, you'll have access to this orchid garden where you can walk around and experience nature. There's also guided tours that can bring you here and explain the background to everything that's on display, but that's something you have to inquire with your personal butler, which the resort assigns you. The honeymoon garden is a first for me. This is dedicated for couples and the concept is basically that you come to the resort and you let your butler know the name of you and your partner and they'll create 2 wooden pieces with your name on them. One of them you get to take home and the other they'll put into this honeymoon garden, which is meant to stay in this garden forever, allegedly. I'm not sure I'm buying that, unless they've only had about 1,000 couples that have ever stayed here. For the garden lovers, they have a Farana organic garden full of organic fruit and vegetables. I didn't really see the point of this one, but they've got pineapples, watermelon, cucumber, Chinese cabbage, kale, and etc. Gravity affected coconuts around the island were pretty cool and worth checking out, but the bins here suck and are super stiff. One of the coolest things here is this giant chessboard, which which is a must try for chess lovers. And one of the most important things I need to mention is the spa. They don't have any male staff, only females. So just keep that in mind if you're planning on getting massages as a Muslim couple. If you're bringing kids, they have nanny services and also an adventure club for the kids, where there's swings, slides, and other kids activities to help keep them entertained. There's a fitness center with a gym, and it has pretty much everything you need as an average gym goer. And there's also a dedicated area to watch sunrises. The resort has a photo studio, and you can make a booking for this from your room. They also have female photographers, which is a lot better for Muslim couples. Your stay comes with one complimentary photo, but if you want to buy more, the prices are outrageous. Packages here cost a couple of hundred USD. A highlight of the resort is the amount of beach areas that they have. You can go almost anywhere and find sand, even at the restaurants. If you want to do water sports, some things are free, like the kayaks and life jackets, and you can book them at this center. You can also pay to hire almost anything, including jet skis and other water sport experiences. You also get a few free mocktails during your stay. The daytime at the resort is great, but the sunsets were the highlight for me. I loved coming to watch the sunsets, enjoying mocktails whilst the sun disappeared from the sky. The lobby area has a lot of seating, and if you're ever coming to watch the sunset, you can walk over to the lobby and ask them to call you a buggy. But late night walks are also a must. There's jewelry and souvenir shops here as well if there's something you're after for your friends and family. Now, let's talk about the negatives of our stay. Remember this complimentary wine we were given on the first day? It was meant to be non-alcoholic, and it took 5 days of complaints to finally have this removed from our room. I emailed the resort prior to checking in, told our butler, called the reception multiple times, and then had to speak to the hotel manager until it was finally removed. The non-alcoholic they replaced it with also exploded all over our room. Same issue with our toothbrushes and toothpaste. Not replaced for 5 days. It got to a point where we had to dry brush. Even when they did replace it, they just dumped it at the front of our door. Same issue with the snacks, not replaced, even after leaving notes for housekeeping. At times we were locked out of our room, and at times our bathtub was just left dirty. Also an FYI, if you don't like geckos, the resort is full of them. We even found some on our bed. Now, the biggest issue was this. This was meant to be a private room, but it's not so private, as there's boats constantly sitting right in front of your room. This is so problematic for Muslim couples who pay a higher price for privacy and are told boats have boundaries. But just look how close these guys are. If we can see them, they can definitely see us. You're literally better off getting a cheaper room. For over $10,000 for a 7-night stay, this leaves one fuming, as you can't even use the outdoor area. Maldives is advertised as a private and Muslim friendly country, but it's really not. On top of this, we had an even bigger issue, which I'm just not going to talk about, but the resort is very well aware of this staff misconduct. The resort had someone chauffeur us through airport check-in, but I'm not sure if this was exclusively for us due to our bad experiences. Would I come back? Probably not. For over $10,000, you definitely don't get the 5-star service you pay for.